Hello guys and gals of the internet, I am Mr. Chaos of YouTube, Mixer and Twitch TV. Channel update for September 3rd, 2019. We are going to cover a lot of bases in this one, so strap in. To put it simply, September is a huge month. Many games are coming out this year, in this month of the year, probably almost reaching double figures with Borderlands 3, PES 2020, Gears of War 5 and FIFA 20 just to name a few. But on a personal level, it's also huge for myself and Time Lady Games on a personal front, as something towards the end of this month, something huge will be happening. Now, I've teased about this a couple of times, namely in the playthroughs of Resident Evil Code Veronica and Devil May Cry 4, that I hinted at it a little bit, but I didn't go in really depth about it. Now, on that, we are hoping in a couple of weeks to have all the information, in our lap basically, in our kind of brains to give to you. So in 2 weeks time, there will most likely be an entire dedicated video as to what's happening and why it's happening, and maybe a bit how videos will work on the channel. Now, I think I might mention that almost right away, because it's not really going to affect us in terms of quality of upload, what we upload, schedule of upload, or anything like that. It's going to be rather changing a little bit of what will be coming out over the course of this month, because we've got a lot. We've got, like I said, we've got Gears of War 5, and we'll start with the first game coming out this year. We'll start with that, Gears of War 5. There's a confirmed release date of September 10th worldwide, and September 6th for people that own the Ultimate Edition of the game. Now, myself and Time Lady Games will own that edition of the game, because we got it through access of Game Pass Ultimate, which obviously, if you don't know what Game Pass Ultimate is, it gives you Game Pass PC, Game Pass Console, and Xbox Live Gold. And basically, it gives you access to, you know how Game Pass works and you know how Gold works. If you're on PC, you don't even need a Gold subscription, but it gives you the Gold subscription if you're on console. So Game Pass Ultimate will give us early access to Gears of War 5, and we will be recording the campaign from September 6th when it comes out. The reason we will not be releasing that video, or those videos from that day, is for a very simple reason of we don't want to release it early and spoil the game for people that are looking to get the game on September 10th, who say haven't watched Ninja streaming the game, as he will be streaming the story at some point tonight on his Mixer channel. So people who haven't got the Ultimate Edition of the game and are not watching Mixer for the same Ninja or Mixer for the same reason we are, we don't want the story spoiled for ourselves, and people don't want the story spoiled for themselves on videos either, most likely. So we'll be waiting till the available release date of September 10th to start uploading our co-op playthrough of the game. It will be either two player with myself and Time Lady, or we might have a third person along. It depends what happens in that. So that is going to be the way it works. And Gears of War 5, I probably should say this right now, may be the only thing that goes up for the entirety of this month due to the announcement that we'll be making hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, and something else that will actually be happening around it that I will mention a little bit later. So September 10th is also the release date of PES 2020. Now, due to the big things in real life for myself and Time Lady Games later this month, this will most likely not be a day one purchase. But I'm here to at least announce today that the third and possibly final season, depending on what happens in real life, of the Coach Pop era for the Premier League at least will be played on PES 2020. I know, shock, OMG, what's going on? I know it's a huge shock. The last 2 years have been on FIFA, but I feel like a change of pace and a change of game this year. The graphics, at least on the PC version, are insanely good. I'm not sure about the consoles because I've only played the demo version on the PC. But the real reason for it is that PES 2020's Master League really has all the potential and ingredients for me, and a lot of tools for me to make it the most authentic and really kind of customizable season so far in the Coach Pop era storyline. Now, obviously, this might be the last, it might not, depending on what happens in real life and if I want to extend it anyway. But for PES 2020, at least, it does give me all the tools to really give it a unpredictable and yet authentic feel to the Coach Pop era for this third and possibly final season. Now, just as a bit of a caveat, I do know you guys are saying, well, Manchester United and Arsenal are the only licensed Premier League teams in the game. What about the others? Well, that's what PES Universe is for. I do have a membership, and I will be using their option file to put the other kits and emblems and all that stuff from the other Premier League clubs in the game, which includes some of the leagues that they've done as well. Now, that's not to say I'm going to be totally abandoning FIFA, however, because as you know, for the last couple of seasons, FIFA has had, or EA have had the license to the Champions League and Europa League to use in their FIFA titles, and Manchester United are in the Europa League as for this season. Now, I'm not sure what PES Universe will mean in terms of that. I don't know whether they're going to use their curations to give you kind of the authentic kind of stuff in the Europa League. If not, then I will EA access FIFA 20 on the PlayStation 4, so I'm not paying for 2 games, football games outright. Because if I'm only going to use FIFA for the Europa League this year, it's very similar to what I did in FIFA and PES 16, when PES had the license to the Champions League and Europa League. Manchester United won the Champions League around FIFA 16 time, and how I did that was I played the league games on FIFA and the Champions League games on PES, and I'm basically going to switch it around for this year. And with all the improvements to Master League and everything, it really gives me the tools, like I said, to make a very unpredictable and very authentic feel to the Season 3 of the Coach Pop era. But like I said, I'm not abandoning FIFA entirely, unless PES Universe does include the Europa and Premier Champions League teams and all the kits and the crests and all that. So if that is the case, then it will be fully on PES 2020. If not, I will EA access FIFA 20 on the PlayStation 4 and do it that way. So yeah, shock horror, I know, but I just feel like changing it up a little bit. And like I said, PES has the kind of tools to give me a real storyline feel, at least to Season 3. We'll have to see what happens in real life and what I decided to do as in Season 4 will be happening. So would you believe it, just a day after that, we then have the release day of The Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series, for Epic Games on PC and also to be released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And this rather leads into Project PC and its current status. Now, I will leave a card in the top right of the screen right now to take you to the introductory video to Project PC, but if you guys want the short version, stick around. The Project PC is a made-up project name by myself, very original I know, and it concerns the use of my game PC, in particular for single-player narration or story-based games, whatever you want to call them. And this was thought of around the time of Telltale Games' closure. Now, sadly, earlier this year, one of the great gaming companies in Telltale Games closed out of the blue with employments left without really any severance pay. That's a different controversy for a different topic. But in a gaming sense, it left 2 things immediately up in the air. What was going to become of the final 2 episodes of The Walking Dead final season, which was 2 episodes of the planned 4 at the time, and the second season that was promised at E3 of The Wolf Among Us. The Wolf Among Us is another popular Telltale game that everyone was really hyped up for a season 2, and they kept asking and asking and asking. Eventually, it was announced at E3 that the second season was going to be starting in development. Now, as far as I'm aware, The Wolf Among Us has been cancelled indefinitely until further notice, unless Skybound or someone decide to pick it up. I know Telltale have been acquired or somehow, like there's a new company taking over. There's no real status update on The Wolf Among Us as of yet with that. But a few weeks later, around this time, actually, around this time, I couldn't buy Season 4 anywhere. And because Season 4 was left in such limbo with the status of the final 2 episodes unknown, and I couldn't buy it, I didn't have the final season because I didn't have the money at the time to purchase it, and I didn't have it on Steam either, so it just disappeared from kind of all stores. With that, I decided to remove my playthrough of The Walking Dead 1 to 3 seasons. I decided to remove them. There was just no point keeping them there if there's no way I can get the final season and see Clementine's end in The Walking Dead Telltale universe. So with that, those playthroughs were gone. I actually deleted them. Now, I didn't delete The Wolf Among Us or Telltale Tales from the Borderlands and other games I had at the time because they were classics and they were kind of one-season wonders. But then I actually realized two things. I still had a lot of Telltale games on my PC that were uncompleted, in particular The Wolf Among Us and The Wolf Among Us and Tales from the Borderlands. No, I did The Wolf Among Us. It was Tales from the Borderlands, Jurassic Park, Batman Season 1, and Batman Season 2. Those were Batman Season 1 was done on the PS4, and Season 2 was obviously left in limbo as well, but I was able to get Season 2 a bit later on my game PC. So, a couple of weeks later, I actually heard that, and we all heard, that Skybound Entertainment were actually going to pick up the reins of the Telltale employees that were working on the final season at the time and finish the season. Seasons episode 3 and 4 were going to be finished by Skybound Entertainment to bring Clementine's story to an end. And I think that's the right thing to do, especially when The Walking Dead is in the middle of its final season and there's no definitive end. And I was like, oh boy, now what? And actually Skybound saved the series and was determined to finish it. So with that in mind, I actually thought, okay, so what does this mean for The Walking Dead final season? Am I going to be able to get it anywhere? Now, money still didn't permit me to get it at the time. So I was like, while I wait for some money to build up, I'm going to do this project. And I'm going to remove the majority of Telltale games from the channel. Now, the reason like Tales from the Borderlands in particular and Game of Thrones got removed were situations where I used a different capture card mid-playthrough and switched platforms mid-playthrough, and it made it a convoluted mess, and I didn't really like the way they had come out because of it. So I decided to gather them all up on the PC, so that's Walking Dead Season 1 to 3, which I already owned, Batman Season 1, which I owned, I think, Batman Season 2 I got later, Tales from the Borderlands, Wolf Among Us, Jurassic Park, and I think that was it. So there was plenty of games, and then those were the 6 games that were going to be originally in Project PC. Then I decided, you know what, I'm going to make more use of my PC, because I wanted more games on it. And I kind of came to the feeling that keyboard and mouse games, very simple to play with and use on the PC, because as you guys know, I suffer from cerebral palsy, so if I was to play a first-person shooter with keyboard and mouse, I'd be looking something like this. I'd be looking like a damn fool and just getting killed plenty of times. But with story-based narrative games, you don't really have that problem. You can move at your pace, you can press W to move, you can look around with the mouse. It's very easy, simple to play with keyboard and mouse, and I decided to actually do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to add Life is Strange 1 and Life is Strange Before the Storm to the project, and that will prepare me for Life is Strange 2 that I will get on Steam later this year. And that's simply how Project PC was born. Oh, and that included the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit demo that prequeled Life is Strange 2 as well. So that's how Project PC was born. Now, I started it initially in August, I think, and I think it got to about February, I think, or January, or something like that, and I kind of thought of a couple of things. I didn't really like the way those playthroughs were being like really long and convoluted. Now with Life is Strange, it was understandable because I kept talking about it and having long, drawn out times of talk. Because with Life is Strange, because I love the series so much, but at the end of the day, even when I'm not talking so much, the playthroughs are lasting quite some time. And around this time that I'd started it, my uncle called me and he said, you're going to get a brand new setup. You're going to get a brand new setup. Table, new PC parts, new PC case, new everything. Everything was going to be new. And I looked at the length of time between December, I think was when the playthroughs were in full swing, and February. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to finish Project PC by the time I get these new changes. I'm not going to finish it. It's just not going to work. So I decided to postpone it. Postpone it until my uncle would come in February to change the setup. Now around this time I actually thought of a longer videos idea. Decided to make longer videos. Now videos were 15 minutes and I think that was getting relatively short, considering the majority of YouTubers do an hour to 45 to half an hour to 45 to an hour videos sometimes. In particular, one of my favorite YouTubers, Vash12349, his videos are generally 20 to 30 minutes. So I decided to play Metal Gear Solid 3. I think this started from Metal Gear Solid 3. And I decided to try a longer video settings. And it actually works. It actually makes it less convoluted and less clutter. And videos are just parts where I don't do anything. So I can cut out slow parts and make it longer. And playthroughs don't seem to take so long. So February comes and goes, and I'm now got my new setup. Project PC begins again. It begins in March, and it begins with the new timing and everything. Everything's going swimmingly. Before the storm is done, before the storm is done, Life is Strange 1's done, and then it was the one season. Then it was Captain Spirit. Then the one season Wonder Games of Tales in the Borderlands and The Wolf Among Us, and then we hit and then Jurassic Park, and then we hit a roadblock. Because I got my PC parts changed again, and this table you're looking at right now, this basically at that point it was time almost for this new setup. This new setup was built in and ready to roll. So I decided Batman Season 1 was going to be where Project PC picked up after that. One boo-boo and problem was that when the cooler was replaced with a new one, the cooler fan started making really loud kind of sounds. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Because I had a very similar problem back in 2015 with Mortal Kombat X, where my cooler fan pump broke, and it was just making the same noise, and now it was making the same noise again. Now, the water pump wasn't broken, it was the fan headers that were the big problem, but the fans were still making a very loud noise. And that would have been very not disruptive, that would have been very distracting during a playthrough. It would have been very distracting during a playthrough to hear that noise in the background. So I rang my uncle, and he says, okay, I'll buy you a new NXT Kraken cooler and we'll replace that. And it's worked like a dream ever since. And then Project PC resumed after that, and it's worked like a dream ever since. So that's where we're at. Then I continued with Batman Season 1, completed that. Went to Batman Season 2, Timely Games joined us because she hadn't seen the game before, and that's where we ended. Now, the plan originally was to do the final, The Walking Dead Season 1 with 400 days, The Walking Dead Season 2, and The Walking Dead Season 3, all on the Steam version, and then eventually go to the Epic Games Store and finish up Season 4. Now, that changed soon after Batman Season 2 had been completed. Because I figured, you know what? It's really going to be kind of jarring if I do the first 3 seasons on Steam, but then can't bring that save over to Epic Games to play Season 4, and I'm going to have to use the choice picker at the start of the game. So to give The Walking Dead the full authentic feel that I gave something like Life is Strange or Batman, for example, to have all the choices carry over into the final season, I decided, you know what, I'll let some, and by this time we'd actually heard, I think it was by this time that we'd actually heard of our first very early planning stages of the major announcement at the end of this month. This is when it started to get kind of discussed by various people involved. And, I was like, you know what, I'm going to let some money build up, and whether it happens before then or not, at one point I will buy the Walking Dead series on Epic Games, and I will give it the whole authentic feel of every choice being carried over to the final season it really deserves, instead of being 3 games on one store and 1 game on the other. Because that's why I deleted Tales from the Borderlands and Game of Thrones in the first place, was because they were on different platforms. To have different stores for different games would have just been bringing me back to that. So I decided, okay, I'm going to wait, save some money. We'll have to probably do it the other side of the announcement, but that's when I will do The Walking Dead, and I will do it on Epic Games. Lo and behold, I think it was a few weeks ago, and look what we have here. The definitive series of The Walking Dead. And basically you can see it in the description. The Walking Dead Telltale series contains all 4 seasons plus 400 days plus The Walking Dead Michonne, which includes over 50 hours of gameplay across 23 unique episodes, with graphical enhancements, behind-the-scenes features, and faithful recreations of classic menus. And this is the definitive way to experience Clementine's journey and find out how her story ends. And I think that explains it in a nutshell. We have to do it that way. We have to do it that way. I was immediately on board. The second it became available, I pre-ordered it, and it will be coming out on September 11th. But obviously, due to us playing Gears of War 5 at the time and the playthrough going up, it probably will be the other side of the big announcement anyway. So the big thing here is the graphical enhancements of the game, which is graphic black story art style brings Season 4's graphics to the previous season. So basically you're playing the previous seasons in Season 4's graphics engine. And let me tell you, some of the scenes in Season 1 that they've shown from the screenshots, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it's almost like The Walking Dead is coming out all over again. It really does feel that way. So I was all over it. You know, obviously Project PC will end at Season 3. I will do Season 4 probably immediately after, but it won't be part of the Project PC playlist. And I will be able to add The Walking Dead Michonne to later on in time as well. So an absolute bargain for £40. Couldn't go wrong. Had to buy it the thing it was available. I own the game. It's coming out on September 11th. And that's how Project PC will conclude. It will conclude with the best possible experience for the first 3 seasons at least, and then I will move on to Season 4 and see how it ends. Now, I have a fair idea of how it's going to end. I could be proven wrong, but I don't know if Clementine's going to make it to the end of the credits of Season 4. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see if there was an original ending planned or not. I hope she does. I think it would be wrong to kill her right at the end. But I just have a bad feeling that that is what they're going to do. Because that is what Telltale traditionally do in their games. Is they kind of kill off awesome people. And Clementine deserves a better ending than that. But we'll have to wait and see. So obviously with it being so close to Gears of War 5's release, this will be another game very much like Coach Pub that will be on the other side of the big announcement at the end of this month. So the other 2 games of any note in September would obviously be Borderlands 3 on Epic Games, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but we're going to wait for the Steam version for that. The main reason is because that's April next year, and number 2, we haven't finished our stream throughs the previous games yet, so we need to get all those done before we even think about Borderlands 3 and get into that. And the other one would obviously be, of course, FIFA 20, which, as I mentioned in the segment about PES, I will most likely be getting through EA Access and playing the Europa League matches if the PES 2020 option file from PES Universe does not include the Champions League or Europa League kind of things that they do with it. So in the midst of all of that, we also have the F1 2019 title update that will add the F2 2019 roster to the game, drivers and teams, and that will obviously pave the way for my F2 2019 Championship season playthrough with Mick Schumacher. That will most likely be on the other side of the big change at the end of this month. As you can see, it's quite chock-a-block full of games, especially this month, and who's to forget games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare coming out in October as well. So for someone who's a regular content creator like me, this will be a time of so many games, so many varying games to put up on the channel, so you guys never get bored with just the same thing. That's what I would normally feel, but obviously money doesn't really permit it, mostly because of the big change at the end of the month. We've been in money saving mode for quite a while now to prepare for it. Plus, as a bit of a present related to that, the uncle's coming around again to switch parts in our PCs. So, really, at the end of it all, I think Gears of War 5 is the only thing we will be able to get done and fully up before all this takes place. And then we have the big announcement video hopefully in 2 weeks' time to do for you guys. So, yeah. Huge month, guys. And I just can't wait. What is happening at the end of the month it's such a personal boost for us, which I'm more excited for than the games, to be honest. I'm going to be excited. I'm more excited about that than the games because it's just going to be such a personal boost for us. It's something we've needed for quite some time. We've been thinking about it ourselves, and when we got the call, I think it was February, to say that that was in the works. It was just like, wow, what a personal boost we're going to get. And we're going to have so much to give to you on the other side of it as well. So yeah, September is such a big month, man. So many games, so many ideas for those games, and then this personal boost of ours. And I honestly can't wait for that. That's more exciting than the games. I can't wait to sit here, hopefully in 2 weeks' time, and give you guys all the news and all the how it's going to work and everything. I can't wait for it. We've been so excited for months, and it's just been growing as it grows closer. So, but like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything right now. We'll have a dedicated video in 2 weeks' time. There will be nothing on the channel now till September 10th, and that's when Gears 5 starts uploading the campaign. And the multiplayer will probably go up from me after it. Time Lady will only do the campaign for her channel, because that's what she predominantly focuses on. This is Chaos signing off. Until the next video, you guys know what to do. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Social medias down in the description of every video. This is Chaos signing off. Peace out. Stay awesome.